The quantum sensors aboard the ESS Vigilant hummed quietly as Captain Elena Santos studied the alien vessel approaching Earth's orbit. Its sleek crystalline hull sparkled like a jewel against the backdrop of space, but something about its approach vector made her uneasy. After 15 years commanding Earth's foremost detection vessel, she learned to trust her instincts. Analysis complete, Captain. Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel reported from his station. The Cerulean Dominion vessel matches their transmitted specifications, but he hesitated, fingers dancing across his holographic interface. Speak freely, Commander. Their power signature is fluctuating in an unusual pattern. It's subtle, but it doesn't match any known civilian or diplomatic configuration we've studied. And their approach vector, they're maintaining a position that would give them optimal weapons coverage of our orbital defense platforms. Elena nodded, having noticed the same thing. Humanity had spent the last century in self-imposed isolation, officially because they were developing their civilization to meet galactic standards. The truth was far more strategic. Every alien transmission, every distant ship movement, every scrap of data had been meticulously analyzed. Earth knew far more about the galaxy's species than anyone suspected. Send the data to Strategic Command, she ordered. Priority Channel Alpha. The Cerulean Dominion's arrival 3 days ago had sent waves of excitement through Earth's population. Their message had been everything humanity had supposedly waited for. An invitation to join the galactic community, offers of advanced technology, promises of peaceful cooperation. But Elena had seen the classified reports. The Dominion's peaceful expansion had left a trail of subtly subjugated worlds across 3 spiral arms. Her quantum comm pinged with an encrypted message from Fleet Admiral Chen. Captain Santos, your analysis confirms our suspicions. Maintain your observation position, but initiate silent protocol Echo 7. The diplomatic team will keep them occupied. Elena allowed herself a grim smile. Echo 7 was one of the contingency plans Earth had developed over the decades. While the public saw only a handful of orbital stations and a modest defense fleet, humanity's real military strength lay hidden. Automated factories in the asteroid belt, shipyards concealed beneath the ice of Europa, quantum weapon platforms disguised as space debris, all waiting for the moment someone tested Earth's apparent vulnerability. The Dominion ship's comm array activated, broadcasting on standard diplomatic frequencies. On her main viewport, the image of Ambassador Zurich's materialized. The aliens' bioluminescent patterns shifted in what their xenologists had identified as a gesture of benevolent authority. People of Earth, the ambassador's translated voice resonated with practiced warmth. We are honored by your welcome. Our preliminary discussions have been most promising, and we look forward to beginning the integration process. Elena watched as Earth's official response was transmitted. Diplomatic pleasantries and carefully worded agreements to continue talks. Meanwhile, her ship's quantum sensors detected 3 more Dominion vessels dropping out of FTL at the edge of the solar system. They were running dark, clearly meant to be undetectable to the level of technology Earth was supposed to possess. Log these coordinates, she ordered quietly, and prepare a full targeting solution. Her crew worked with practiced efficiency, knowing that somewhere out there, dozens of other Earth ships were doing the same. The Dominion thought they were dealing with an isolated, technologically inferior species desperate to join the galactic community. They were about to learn how badly they had misread the situation. A message flashed across Elena's neural link, transmitted through quantum channels undetectable to Dominion sensors. Operation Velvet Glove is now active. All units maintain silent running. Wait for diplomatic signals to fail. Elena settled back in her command chair, outwardly projecting the image of a captain of a simple observation vessel, while her crew silently brought weapons systems online and updated targeting algorithms. The Dominion had come expecting to find sheep eager to join their flock. They would soon discover they had wandered into a wolf's den. Send confirmation to Fleet Command, she ordered. The ESS Vigilant stands ready. Across the solar system, Humanity's hidden strength stirred to life, waiting for the moment when diplomacy would give way to revelation. The Cerulean Dominion was about to learn why Earth had really spent a century in isolation, and the lesson would reshape the galaxy's balance of power forever. Deep beneath Europa's icy surface, Admiral Sarah Chen stood in the heart of Earth's largest hidden shipyard. Through the reinforced transparasteel viewport, she watched as automated systems brought the ESS Hyperion to life. The massive dreadnought represented humanity's best-kept secret, a warship that could go toe-to-toe with anything in known space. "Final systems check complete, Admiral," reported Commander David Rodriguez, his holographic avatar flickering beside her. "All 12 Europa-class vessels are combat-ready. Quantum drive signatures are masked, and stealth systems are operating at peak efficiency." Sarah nodded, her expression stern. The diplomatic dance with the Cerulean Dominion had been ongoing for 2 weeks now, each day bringing more cultural advisors and technological assistance teams into Earth's orbit. And with them, the subtle positioning of Dominion warships at strategic points throughout the solar system. "Status of Operation Shadow Web?" she asked, turning to face the tactical display dominating the command center's main wall. "All sensor nets are active but passive, ma'am. We're tracking 27 cloaked Dominion vessels now. They think they're invisible, but our quantum detection grid is mapping every move they make." David's avatar gestured, bringing up a 3-dimensional representation of the solar system. Red dots marked each hidden Dominion ship, their attack vectors clearly plotted. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The Dominion's hubris was playing right into humanity's hands. Even now, their ambassadors were presenting Earth's government with trade agreements that would gradually cede control of key industries and resources to Dominion oversight. They believed they were dealing with an isolated, technologically inferior civilization, eager to join the galactic community. Her neural implant pulsed with an incoming priority message from the Titan Defense Complex. "Admiral, we've detected quantum communication bursts between the Dominion fleet. They're coordinating something big. Analysis suggests a strike window within the next 48 hours. "Right on schedule," Sarah murmured. She opened a secure channel to all command posts throughout the solar system. "This is Admiral Chen. Initiate Phase 2 of Operation Velvet Glove. All stations maintain emissions control, but begin power-up sequences. I want every hidden asset ready for instant deployment the moment they show their hand." Acknowledgements flooded in from bases scattered across the solar system. Beneath the surface of Mars, railgun batteries powered up in their camouflaged silos. In the Kuiper Belt, automated drone carriers activated their swarms. Throughout the asteroid belt, what appeared to be simple mining operations transformed into weapon platforms, their industrial facades concealing state-of-the-art military hardware. "Message from Captain Santos on the Vigilant," David reported. "The Dominion's diplomatic vessel is requesting permission to deploy atmospheric monitoring satellites around Earth. Their energy signatures match known weapons platforms." Sarah's expression hardened. "And so it begins. Send word to our diplomatic corps. Approve their request, but activate the planetary defense grid's passive mode. Let's see how they react when their first shots hit shields they didn't know existed." She turned back to the viewport, watching as the Hyperion's massive form was guided out of its underground dock by robotic tugs. Similar scenes were playing out in hidden facilities across the solar system. Humanity had spent a century preparing for this moment, building up forces in secret while the galaxy assumed they were simply slow to develop. "Admiral," David's voice carried a note of satisfaction. "Field Marshal Zhang reports that ground forces are in position. All major population centers have active subterranean shelters ready for immediate evacuation. Orbital defense platforms are fully charged but running on minimum power to maintain the deception." Sarah squared her shoulders, feeling the weight of humanity's future in her next words. "Send the coded alert to all Earth governments. The wolf is at the door. They'll know what it means." Across the planet, Civilian leaders who had long been briefed for this possibility began implementing their roles in humanity's grand deception. As the Dominion ships moved into what they thought were optimal attack positions, humanity's hidden strength gathered like a storm about to break. In her private thoughts, Sarah felt a mixture of anticipation and regret. The Dominion had come in peace, false peace, but peace nonetheless. They could have been allies in a dangerous galaxy. Instead, their attempt at subtle conquest would lead to a revelation that would shake the galactic order to its core. "One final thing, Commander," she said, turning to David's hologram. "Activate the quantum entanglement network. When this starts, I want our forces coordinating faster than light itself." The time for hiding humanity's true capabilities was almost over. Soon, the galaxy would learn why Earth had chosen isolation and the price of underestimating humanity's potential. The Cerulean Dominion struck at dawn. Across Earth's orbit, their hidden warships decloaked simultaneously, weapon systems charging. Their diplomatic vessel transformed, its crystalline hull reconfiguring to reveal ranks of energy cannons. The attack had been choreographed to perfection, a swift, overwhelming show of force designed to force humanity's immediate surrender. But the first salvo of plasma torpedoes splashed harmlessly against shields that shouldn't have existed. In the ESS Vigilance Command Center, Captain Alina Santos allowed herself a tight smile as the Dominion commander's shocked face appeared on her view screen. His bioluminescent patterns were cycling rapidly through colors their xenologists had associated with confusion and alarm. "This is impossible," he stated, mandibles clicking rapidly. "Your civilization's technology level was confirmed. You cannot have planetary shields of this magnitude." Elena straightened in her command chair. "Perhaps you should have wondered why Earth chose isolation for so long." She nodded to her tactical officer. "Now let me show you what else we've been working on." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet revealed itself. The ice of Europa cracked as massive warships rose from their concealed bays. What had appeared to be asteroid mining operations suddenly shed their industrial camouflage, revealing state-of-the-art weapon platforms. From the dark side of Mars, railgun batteries emerged from their underground silos. Admiral Chen's voice echoed across all frequencies. "All Earth forces, execute Operation Revelation. Weapons free, but remember, we want survivors to carry the message." The Dominion Fleet Commander's expression shifted from confusion to horror as his sensors registered the true extent of Earth's military power. "Wait, we can discuss." His transmission cut off as the battle began in earnest. The Vigilance quantum weapons, technology the Dominion hadn't even theorized yet, carved through the enemy's shields like they weren't there. Across the system, humanity's hidden strength was unleashed with surgical precision. "Target their engines and weapons only," Alina ordered. "Let's show them the difference between their version of civilization and ours." The battle unfolded like a deadly dance. Dominion ships, designed for intimidation and subjugation of less advanced races, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Humanity's vessels moved with coordinated precision, their quantum entanglement networks allowing them to react faster than light itself. From her command post beneath Europa, Admiral Chen watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. "Status report. Dominion fleet is in disarray," Commander Rodriguez reported. "Their attempts to call for reinforcements are being blocked by our quantum interference grid. 17 of their vessels have surrendered, 9 are disabled, and the remainder are attempting to retreat to the system's edge." The diplomatic vessel. Contained. Captain Santos has it locked down with gravity tethers. Their ambassador is requesting to resume negotiations. Sarah allowed herself a cold smile. "I bet he is." She opened a channel to the captured vessel. "Ambassador Zirix, I believe it's time we had an honest conversation about humanity's place in the galaxy." The ambassador's image appeared, his earlier confidence replaced with barely concealed fear. "There has been a grave misunderstanding." "No," Sarah cut him off. "There has been a grave miscalculation. You assumed our isolation was weakness. You never considered we might be using that time to prepare, to advance beyond what you thought possible. She leaned forward. Look at your tactical display, Ambassador. Really look. Those aren't just warships you're seeing. They're a message. On every Dominion vessel's screen, the full extent of humanity's deception was becoming clear. The quantum weapons that had carved through their best shields. The gravity manipulation technology that held their ships immobile. The FTL communication systems that had coordinated Earth's response faster than should have been possible. Your civilization. Xyrix's translator struggled to convey his mix of emotions. You were never primitive. Why maintain the deception? Why not simply join the galactic community as equals? Alina's voice cut in on the channel. Because we watched. We learned. We saw how your Dominion treats its equals. How many civilizations have you subtly conquered through your false diplomacy? How many worlds labor under your protective oversight? The galaxy is dangerous, Xyrix protested. Our guidance provides stability. Your guidance provides submission, Sarah countered. But that era is ending. Right now, quantum encrypted messages are reaching every world in your sphere of influence. Technical data, evidence of your manipulation, and most importantly, an offer of real alliance. Equal, mutual, and free from coercion. She stood, her hologram now projecting onto every captured Dominion vessel. Humanity is stepping onto the galactic stage, Ambassador. Not as supplicants, not as vassals, but as defenders of genuine independence. The choice your people face now is simple. Adapt to this new reality, or be remembered as the empire that fell because they underestimated Earth. Around the solar system, the battle was ending as swiftly as it had begun. Humanity's hidden strength had been revealed, and with it, the balance of power in the galaxy had shifted irreversibly. The long wait was over. The wolves had shown their teeth. Within hours of the battle in Earth's solar system, the shockwaves were spreading across the galaxy. The quantum data packets humanity had prepared reached every corner of Dominion space, carrying with them a truth that could no longer be contained. Aboard the ESS Hyperion, now serving as Earth's mobile command center, Admiral Sarah Chen watched the galactic news feeds with intense focus. Reports were flooding in from dozens of worlds. Dominion control centers being peacefully overwhelmed, client species declaring independence, centuries of carefully maintained control crumbling in real time. Update from the diplomatic corps. Commander Rodriguez reported. 7 more systems have formally requested Earth's protection. The Arcturus Collective has offered military alliance, and the Proxima Trading League wants to establish immediate technological exchange. Sarah nodded, studying the strategic display. The Dominion's response fleet had arrived at the edge of their territory, only to find themselves facing an impossible choice. Earth had positioned quantum-linked battle groups at key strategic points throughout their space. The same hidden preparation that had protected Sol now threatened the very heart of their empire. Message from Captain Santos, Rodriguez continued. The Vigilant has completed its analysis of the Dominion's secured databases. It's interesting reading, Admiral. Share it. The tactical display shifted, showing centuries of careful manipulation. The Dominion hadn't just been subjugating younger species, they had been systematically suppressing technological advancement across the galaxy. Any civilization that showed signs of developing quantum mechanics or advanced AI found themselves suddenly invited into the Dominion's protective embrace. They were afraid, Sarah realized. All this time, they were terrified of someone developing technology that could challenge them. That's why Earth's isolation worried them so much. On the main screen, Ambassador Xyrix's replacement, Senior Executor Vex, was making an emergency broadcast to all Dominion worlds. His attempt to project confidence was betrayed by the rapid fluctuations in his bioluminescence. The actions of Earth represent a dangerous destabilization of galactic order, he declared. Their hoarding of advanced technology, their secret military buildup, their interference in internal Dominion affairs. These are the acts of a species that cannot be trusted with power. Sarah opened a channel, interrupting the broadcast. Earth's quantum communication systems easily overrode the Dominion's security. Interesting words. Executor, from a civilization that has systematically deceived and subjugated others for centuries. Would you like me to release the contents of your secured archives to every world in your space? You wouldn't dare, Vex hissed. The Chaos. The truth, Sarah corrected. Something your people forgot long ago. But humanity remembers. We remember being alone, being vulnerable. We remember watching your ships pass by Earth, century after century, while we struggled and grew. And we remember every civilization you've trapped in economic servitude, every species you've kept from reaching their full potential. She gestured, and the tactical display updated again. Across Dominion space, more of Earth's hidden fleet was revealing itself. Not attacking, not threatening, simply making their presence known. Each ship carried detailed technical specifications for quantum drives, shield technology, and AI systems. Knowledge that had been suppressed for generations was flowing freely again. This isn't an invasion, Executor, Sarah continued. It's a liberation, not through violence, but through knowledge, through choice. Every world in your space now has the chance to develop freely, to trade openly, to join alliances of their own choosing. The Executor's patterns shifted to colors of rage and fear. You're destroying centuries of stability. The galaxy needs order. The galaxy needs freedom. Elena's voice cut in as the Vigilant took up position alongside the Hyperion. Earth spent a century in isolation, not just developing technology, but studying history. Real history, not the sanitized version you fed to your client worlds. We learned what true civilization means. Across the galaxy, the revolution was spreading. The Dominion's carefully maintained hierarchy was dissolving, replaced by a new network of alliances and agreements. Earth's quantum technology meant distance was no longer a barrier to communication or trade. Species that had been kept apart by Dominion decree were discovering each other, sharing knowledge, forming their own connections. Final status report, Rodriguez announced. The Dominion's Emergency Council is requesting an immediate conference. Their military commands are standing down across all sectors. And, he paused, checking the latest data, we're detecting quantum signal bursts from at least 30 previously unknown civilizations. It seems we weren't the only ones hiding our true capabilities. Sarah allowed herself a moment of quiet satisfaction. Humanity's great deception was complete, but it had achieved something far more important than military victory. It had broken a cycle of suppression that had lasted for centuries. The galaxy was awakening, and Earth would help guide it, not through force or manipulation, but through example. Send word to all Earth forces, she ordered. Phase 4 of Operation Velvet Glove is complete. Begin diplomatic protocols for the new era. And inform Ambassador Xerix that we're ready to discuss terms, real terms this time, for a real peace. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if the galaxy itself was celebrating its newfound freedom. Humanity had hidden in the shadows, preparing for this moment. Now they would step into the light, not as conquerors, but as liberators. The age of deception was over. The age of true cooperation was about to begin. 1 year after humanity's revelation, the great hall of the newly established Galactic Concordat hummed with activity. Representatives from hundreds of civilizations gathered in the massive chamber, which floated in high orbit above Earth, a symbolic choice that none missed. Captain Elena Santos, recently promoted to fleet commander, stood at her observation post, watching the proceedings with quiet pride. The first session of the Free Species Alliance is now in session, announced the automated translator system. Unlike the old Dominion protocols, this one handled all known languages simultaneously, allowing for true direct communication between species for the first time in galactic history. Admiral Sarah Chen took the central podium, her uniform pristine, but deliberately lacking in unnecessary ornament. Earth had learned from the Dominion's mistakes. True power needed no flashy display. A year ago, she began. Humanity revealed itself to the galaxy, not as conquerors, not as suppressors, but as liberators. Today, we see the fruits of that revelation. The holographic displays showed the changes that had swept the galaxy. The former Dominion worlds had reorganized into autonomous sectors, each developing at their own pace but sharing knowledge freely. Trade routes that had once been restricted now flowed openly. Technologies that had been suppressed for centuries were being rediscovered and improved upon. The Arcturus Research Coalition has reported successful quantum consciousness transfer, reported a representative from one of the formerly suppressed worlds. Combined with Earth's AI protocols, we're seeing advancement rates that would have been impossible under the old regime. Commander Rodriguez, now Earth's Chief of Diplomatic Security, brought up another display. The Proxima Trading League's new FTL network has reduced travel times by 60%. Open technological exchange is proving more efficient than anyone predicted. From his position in the diplomatic section, former Ambassador Xerix, now representing the reformed Cerulean systems, spoke up. His pattern showed colors of satisfaction and hope, so different from the authoritarian hues of the past. "My people owe humanity a debt we can never fully repay," he said. "You could have destroyed us. Instead, you forced us to remember who we once were, before power and fear corrupted our society." Sarah shook her head. "No debts, no servants, no masters. That's the fundamental principle of the new order. Every species advances according to their own path, shares according to their own choice, allies according to their own judgment." The displays shifted again, showing the new defense network that protected this unprecedented alliance. Earth's hidden fleet had become the core of a mutual protection force, but one that operated on dramatically different principles than the Dominion's military. Ships from dozens of species served together, sharing techniques and technologies that complemented each other's strengths. "We've detected 3 new civilizations approaching FTL capability in the Carina Arm," Elena reported. "Unlike in the past, we'll welcome them openly, share knowledge freely, and let them choose their own path of development." The chamber erupted in approving signals, lights, sounds, and gestures unique to each species but united in sentiment. This was what real galactic civilization looked like, not a hierarchy of control, but a network of equals. "There will be challenges ahead," Sarah continued. "Change never comes easily, and there are always those who prefer the old ways of power. But humanity remembers our own history, centuries of war and division before we learned to unite. We won't repeat the Dominion's mistakes." She gestured to the Earth hanging below them, beautiful and seemingly peaceful from orbit. "We hid our strength not out of fear, but because we needed time to learn wisdom. The power to destroy is easy. The power to nurture, to protect, to guide while respecting freedom, that's the real challenge of advanced civilization." The session continued, with representatives from across the galaxy sharing discoveries, resolving disputes through open dialogue, and planning for a future that would have been impossible under the old regime. The age of suppression was over. The age of true cooperation had begun. In her private thoughts, Elena reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had prepared for war, but achieved something far greater, a revolution not through force, but through the power of truth and possibility. The wolves had shown their teeth, yes, but then they had chosen to become shepherds instead of predators. As the session drew to a close, Sarah made one final announcement. "The quantum archaeology team has made a breakthrough. We've found evidence of civilizations that preceded even the Dominion, species that reached heights we can barely imagine. Their knowledge was lost in cycles of conquest and suppression. But now, together, we can rediscover it, not to control, but to understand, not to dominate, but to grow." The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity had led the way, not through conquest, not through subjugation, but by showing a better path. The long isolation had ended, and with it, a new chapter in galactic history had begun. The stars themselves seemed brighter, as if reflecting the hopes of countless species now free to reach for them in their own way, at their own pace, but never again alone.